Hi, I'm Karen Buxman, neurohumorist. Have you ever had a time where you put your faith in someone? Maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a parent, a spiritual leader, a politician, even a celebrity, only to find out that that person really wasn't who you thought they were and that your trust was misplaced. Today, every day I turn on the news, I'm finding out that trust has been broken from leaders, political figures, celebrities that I put my faith in, I put my trust in. And so I wanted to address that today and think about how can we all create that sense of trust. And there's no one path, obviously. It's about authenticity. It's about transparency. It's about vulnerability. It's about consistency. It's about so many things. But humor is a way to build that sense of trust. And I just wanted to share some thoughts with you about that. A gazillion years ago, when I was a student nurse, we had a very different kind of school policy back then. It's ancient, but we couldn't wear our nurse uniforms to the hospital. The thought behind that was we would be dragging in horrible, deadly germs into the hospital. I don't know what kind of living circumstances they thought we were in, but we could bring them from that horrible situation at home, whatever that would be, in our cars, but then put them on at the hospital. So it was a big day for me as a student. I had what's called a case study, and I was going to accompany a patient of mine into surgery. I had never stepped foot in a surgical suite before, and would be in there with him in surgery all day, and then through his post-op period. And boy, this was really back in the good old days, because he was going to be in the hospital for weeks, and I would be entrusted in his care. So I get to the hospital, I'm all ready to go. I put on my nursing uniform, I put on my cap, I grab my shoes, and I have brought two left shoes from home. One was a regular high heel shoe, a nursing shoe, but the other, and this will really date me, but it was an earth shoe. Now, some of you have no idea what an earth shoe is, but an earth shoe actually was higher in the front of the shoe than in the back of the shoe. And so I am not only wearing two left shoes, but one is high in the front and one is high in the back. So I walked like I had a neuromuscular disease. This was just absolutely horrible. And so I put on the shoes, I went onto the floor, I found my nursing instructor. And I said, just across the street, one of the students lives in the dorm. She's offered to let me borrow her shoes. Is it okay with you if I run over and get those before I go up to the surgery suite? There's plenty of time. And he looked at me, and then he looked up and down, and he said, no, and turned around and walked off. Needless to say, I was forced to wear two left shoes and walk like I said, like I was crippled the entire day. Oh, my aching back. But what a learning experience. And many, 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 many years later, when I had nursing students of my own, before we went out on the floor, before they got case studies, I shared with them this experience and told them it's impossible when you're wearing two left shoes to get off on the right foot. But I'm bump. But what I did was show them through a humorous story. It was a most embarrassing moment at the time, but enough time had passed that I could now see the humor in it. They saw the humor in it, but they also saw my vulnerability. And they were more willing to put their trust in me, and they were more willing to share their vulnerabilities. They were more willing to be honest with me if they made a mistake, because I'd shown them that, hey, I'm capable of mistakes too. So think about ways that you could build trust through your humor. How are ways that you could show a little bit of your vulnerability? Self-effacing humor is one means of doing that. And there's so many in the repertoire. And I'll share some more with you over the week on how you can build trust with humor, because that's what high performers do. All right, until next time, practice your humor skills, your superpower. Don't leave home without them, because humor is power.